Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. We take compelling sources and, well, we pull out the most powerful, maybe surprising, and definitely actionable insights for you. Today, we're diving deep, really deep into the art, and I guess the science too, of actually achieving your goals, moving beyond just kind of wishing for things. So our source material for this one, it's this fantastic collection of thought-provoking questions. And it's designed not just to help you set goals, but to really guide you through the whole journey, the ups and downs of achieving them. Think of it less like a standard self-help book and, I don't know, maybe more like a serious mental workout. It pushes you to think differently. So our mission for you, listening in, is to pull out the insights and the questions that can genuinely transform your approach. We want to get you past the simple to-do lists and into thinking about deeper purpose, building real resilience, and understanding the true impact of what you're aiming for. By the end, hopefully, you'll feel way better equipped to turn those big ideas into, well, reality. Right, let's start at the beginning. The foundation, defining your North Star.
This material kicks off with a question that sounds simple, but wow, it's powerful. How clear is your goal? Can you actually state it in, this is the quote, one clear, specific sentence? It sounds so basic, doesn't it? But honestly, how many of us really nail that down before we start running?
That clarity is absolutely foundational. But what's really brilliant here is how it immediately pushes you further. It brings up this idea of the goal behind the goal. So it's not just about hitting that immediate target. It's about understanding where that target fits into your bigger, longer-term picture. It really forces you to think about the why, the why that sits above the immediate what.
Exactly. And it moves so quickly past vague hopes. It asks point blank, what will achieving it truly give you? And then what is the specific measurable benefit? The insight there, I think, isn't just listing stuff. It makes you articulate the concrete value. It almost turns goal setting into an economic calculation. Like, what's the return on this effort? Makes the commitment feel much more real.
Yeah, the ROI of your energy, essentially. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the material really wants you to link these things up, link those individual goals to your broader personal vision. It asks some pretty profound questions, like, what is your purpose in life and what will your legacy be?
Heavy stuff.
It is, but they're not just, motivational fluff. They act as anchors. Understanding those deeper connections, that can give you incredible direction and, frankly, resilience when things get tough, which they inevitably do. It's about building a life, really, not just checking off boxes on a list.
Right. And once you've got that North Star, that bigger context sorted, it wisely brings us back down to earth. It asks if your goal is made up of smaller goals, steps, achievements.
Yeah.
Because that huge, maybe overwhelming vision, it only starts to feel manageable when you can see the actual steps, the footholds to get there. Okay, so we've defined our North Star. But let's be real. Defining it, that's often only half the battle, maybe less. The real challenge, so often it's internal. It's our mindset, our motivation. And this is where this material, I think, gets really interesting. It dives right into what it calls the inner game. And it hits you immediately with this one. Which version of yourself are you going to need to be? The good one or the great one?
Oof. Yeah.
That's a bit of a gut check, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And it builds on that, digging into self-measurement. It pushes you to ask things like, how will you ensure you always measure your progress against the best version of yourself and not against others? That's huge.
Yeah, comparison trap.
Totally. And then, how will you become both your greatest critic and greatest fan? This is all about cultivating that internal dialogue, isn't it? Where you can be really analytical, like a coach dissecting performance, but then immediately pivot and be your own biggest cheerleader. That internal balance, it's incredibly tough to strike, but the material suggests it's like the bedrock of sustained, self-driven excellence.
And speaking of internal states, it brings up the classic comfort zone. It asks, how does it feel to be in your comfort zone? We all know that feeling, right? Cozy.
Safe.
Safe, yeah. But then it hits you with the crucial follow-up. Can significant growth actually happen within it? It forces you to face that reality. Comfort often equals stagnation.
Precisely. And the material then kind of maps out the progression. It notes that the first step out of your comfort zone is to a zone of risk before then hopefully moving to a zone of learning.
Risk first, then learning. Okay.
Yeah, and this highlights why it's so important to prepare for those feelings of, uncertainty, ambiguity, and less comfortable sensations. Rather than just being thrown off course by them when they hit, it's about anticipating it, not just reacting. If you know that initial discomfort is actually part of the path to learning, you're probably less likely to just retreat back to safety.
Which leads us right into dealing with fears and setbacks. And this material really goes there, tackles those voices in your head like, I failed before, why will it be different now?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it even worth risking the outcome of failure? Gosh, those questions can just stop you cold, can't they? It reminds me of that feeling, just before you try something big and suddenly every past mistake is playing on a loop in your head.
And what's powerful here is how it sort of normalizes setbacks. It asks directly, are setbacks and failures normal? Spoiler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It emphasizes respecting people who failed and bounced back. It pushes you to actively explore the potential, get this, benefits of trying and failing in terms of learning, personal growth, and life experience.
Benefits of failing. That's a reframe.
Huge reframe. It turns failure from this final judgment into just valuable data, an essential part of the learning curve. It's about collecting experience, not just collecting wins.
Okay, so given all those potential hurdles, those inner voices, the setbacks, how do we actually push through? The material gets into self-motivation techniques. It suggests things like visualizing yourself after a knockback and bouncing back.
Yeah, mental rehearsal.
Right. Or visualizing yourself moving towards your goal successfully. It's like building that mental blueprint for resilience before you even need it.
And then for a really profound bit of reflection, it offers these scenarios like, imagine you were on your deathbed and looking back at this moment now, what would you tell yourself?
Whoa.
Or the other big one. The doctor told you that you only had one more year to live scenario.
Okay, deep breaths.
Yeah, they're intense. But they're not meant to be morbid. They're incredible perspective shifters. They force you, really force you, to clarify what your true priorities are. What you genuinely value deep down, helps you align your daily actions with what actually matters most to your core.
Yeah, inner work is so vital. But then, okay, how do you translate all that introspection into actual tangible steps? This is where the material shifts gears, guiding us into the practical side, the crafting your path part. First up, commitment and sacrifice. It demands you ask, what are you going to have to commit to?
Yeah.
And maybe tougher, what will you have to give up to achieve this? And the really hard follow-up, what do you need to stop doing? That's a stark reminder, isn't it? Every yes to your goal means no to something else.
It really does. And this brings up an important distinction the material highlights between being effective and being efficient.
Okay, effective versus efficient.
Yeah. Effective is about creating the desired results, basically. Are you doing the right things? Whereas efficient is about using your resources, time, energy well. Are you doing things right?
Ah, okay.
And the point is, you absolutely need both to succeed, not just one. You can be incredibly efficient at doing completely the wrong thing.
Yeah, spinning your wheels perfectly.
Exactly. And that won't get you anywhere near your goal.
Right. So in terms of planning for success, doing the right things right, it comes back to breaking the big goal down into those smaller goals and setting measurable, trackable milestones. We talked about that. But it adds this crucial, often forgotten piece. How will you celebrate achievement of small goals, milestones on the way?
The celebration part, so important.
It is. Because recognizing that progress, it fuels the next push, doesn't it? Those small wins are essential for keeping the momentum going.
Absolutely. And what's particularly insightful, I think, is the emphasis on proactively planning for the challenges. The material asks, what problems will you anticipate? It pushes you to prepare. Prepare to respond in a way that is best for you rather than simply react in the moment. Big difference.
Respond, don't react.
Yeah. And this naturally leads to thinking about plan B, C, D, and developing the ability to pivot in an agile, adaptable way while still making forward progress. It's about building that flexibility right into your strategy from the start.
And that adaptability often relies on support, doesn't it?
Right.
Which brings us to the people around you.
Yeah.
The material asks, who is already in your team for this journey? Could be family, friends, colleagues. And then what type of additional people do you need?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, very few big achievements happen completely alone. Recognizing who you need, mentors, cheerleaders, maybe accountability partners, that's a strategic move in itself.
And accountability, you mentioned it, it's absolutely key. The material really probes here. It asks, do you want someone to challenge you and make you accountable? You have to want it.
Good point.
And then, who can help you stop accepting excuses from yourself? Because it acknowledges that even with the best intentions, we're masters of self-justification sometimes.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. So that external nudge, or just knowing you have to report back to someone, that can honestly be the difference maker.
And while we're planning all this, it's so vital to think about balance. Work-life balance, goal-life balance. The material prompts. How will your work-life balance change in pursuit of the goal? And crucially, is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah.
And it raises that important question of how you stop the goal focus from just completely taking over your life.
Yeah.
It needs to be sustainable progress, not just a frantic, short-lived sprint.
Absolutely. And the importance of self-care for actually sustaining the effort isn't skipped over either. It asks, how in the plan will you look after yourself so you can be the best you can be? You just can't pour from an empty cup, can you? Especially on a long, demanding journey, neglecting your own well-being. That's just a fast track to burnout, and it undermines everything else you're trying to do.
Okay, so let's bring it home. Let's talk about the bigger picture, the larger implications of actually achieving these goals.
Sure.
The material asks, once you have achieved your goal, how will life be? And maybe more profoundly, what is the real significance of achieving your goal? It's got to be about more than just the check mark on the list, right?
Yeah.
It's about the transformation, maybe, that happens along the way.
Yeah, and this raises that important question. How does this specific goal contribute to your overall success in life, that broader definition of success? And how does it help you feel fulfilled?
Yeah.
It connects the specific thing you achieved back to your core sense of purpose, your overall well-being. It's the difference between just, getting something done and experiencing real satisfaction and growth from having done it.
And looking further out, it asks you to imagine. Imagine it's 123 years in the future, and you have achieved results way beyond your goal. Nice thought.
Yeah.
Then you look back at everything you did, and you ask yourself, what would you identify as being the key factors in achieving this?
That's a great exercise.
It's like reverse engineering your own success, right? Helps you figure out what really worked, what you should repeat.
Exactly. And finally, there's this deeply reflective question from the material that it really sticks with you. Have you ever wondered and asked yourself if this is it and nothing more?
Wow.
Now, this isn't about breeding dissatisfaction necessarily. It's more about prompting continuous growth, continuous exploration, making sure you're living a life that truly excites you well beyond hitting any single goal or milestone. It's kind of a call to keep evolving, keep asking questions.
So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you, the listener? We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From defining really clear, specific goals, all the way through building that inner resilience, finding the right support, planning for bumps in the road, and understanding the profound, lasting impact of true achievement.
Yeah.
This isn't just about, setting New Year's resolutions that fade by February. It feels more like a fundamental shift in how you approach living, how you approach making things happen.
I think so, too. Ultimately, what all these questions really illuminate is that successful goal achievement, it's a holistic journey. It's complex. It's not just set target, run fast. It's this blend of practical steps, yes, but also deep introspection, proactive planning for the inevitable challenges, and unwavering self-awareness. It's really about becoming the person who can achieve those goals, not just being the person who wants to achieve them.
Becoming that person. That's powerful. Okay, and with that, we'll leave you with one final provocative thought pulled straight from our source material today. If you were the bravest version of yourself, right now, today, what would you do differently to pursue your most meaningful goal? And maybe just as importantly, how would that single act of courage today begin to shape your future and ultimately your legacy? Definitely something to chew on. Take some time with that one. We'll be back soon with another.